Welcome back. As you know, I'm Eli, the computer guy, here for the Daily Blob, and by golly, I'm so tired. I have muscles hurting right now that I didn't even realize that I had. I went out this morning, woke up at 4 o'clock, got on the trail at 5 o'clock, and I ran 21 miles this morning as I prep for a marathon probably in the next month or so. And I've got to say, I'm probably feeling right now about how the Tesla investors are feeling. Just so fucking tired. Anyways, remember, was it last week? It's hard to keep up. It was like last week or a week and a half ago where Elon Musk told the Tesla investors, don't worry, I'm going to be refocusing on Tesla, right? His time with Doge was done. He was finished trying to destroy the federal structures of our society. He was done with that, and he was going to be focusing on Tesla. And to prove that he was focusing on Tesla, we had the debut of the Robotaxis, which, you know, happened. There's 10 of them on the road in Austin in a tightly geo-fenced area with safety drivers in the cars and teleoperators. So that occurred, right? And we were told, right? This is the first of these Tesla robotaxis, you know, with Elon Musk being on the job again. Tesla was going to take over the world. There'd be millions and millions of robotaxis on the roads, and so Tesla investors should be excited about that. Where the entire world should be excited about that. And then, squirrel. The damn squirrels. My Chihuahua knows, little Roxy knows the real enemy to American society is the fucking squirrels. Squirrel runs across Elon Musk's view and he goes running after that damn thing. Oh, so there's this big, beautiful bill, which as far as I can tell is a piece of crap legislation, but it is what it is. Like, nobody was surprised about this big, beautiful bill. Like, whether you like the big, beautiful bill or you hate the big, beautiful bill, I'm probably in that camp. You know, we all knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. Like, you saw it from a mile away. It's like a freight train. It's like a freight train going at about 5 miles an hour. And then you just stand in the middle of the track for like 5 hours. And then it smacks you. Like, oh my God. How did I get hit by the freight train? It's like, nobody knows. It was going 5 miles an hour. You had hours to get the fuck out of the way. Anyways, this big, beautiful bill comes through. It appears that it's going to increase our budget deficit, or our debt burden, our federal debt burden, by another $3.5 trillion, because that makes as much economic sense as anything else that Trump has been doing. And so Elon Musk starts screaming about that. And I do have to say with this, I don't understand. You saw this coming. We all had the basic outline of the Trump administration before he got elected. As I've said before, Kamala Harris was probably one of the literal worst candidates to ever be on the presidential ticket, right? You had our first dead president that didn't finally get buried until the election was already ongoing, and then he hand-selected his diversity pick, Kamala Harris, because she just agreed with everything that he said. And she was garbage. She was just garbage. She was anyway, so bad. But the issue was with Trump is you saw what Trump put on the table. You saw what he was talking about. Even the good, like, he's gone way farther than I expected. But even if you think about the not going so far, it was still going to be pretty fucking dramatic. And so it's very weird here with this whole Elon Musk thing where he's like, oh my God, can you believe that Trump is acting like Trump? How was I ever to know before I gave him $400 million and tried to help him get elected? Oh! So anyways, we have this big, beautiful bill go through. It's going to increase our debt by $3.5 trillion because somehow I guess if the debt gets high enough, I think Trump thinks the debt is like an odometer. Like maybe once the debt gets to a certain level, it rolls back to zero. I don't know. That's the only thing I can guess. So anyways, Elon Musk comes out swinging again, right? So Elon Musk was screaming a couple of weeks ago about this big, beautiful bill. And then he played nice with Trump for a little while. It looked like there was a détente. They were going to be friends again. And now Elon Musk is coming back out swinging again, screaming about the debt burden on our society. And I do think it's funny. I do think it's hilarious. Like when you really think about this. So all the chaos that Doge created, and really consider this for a second, all the chaos that Doge created, hundreds of thousands of government employees being kicked to the curb, all the work that they've done being lost, all of that stuff being lost. You look at the disaster of the Doge initiative, and then you realize our debt is going to go up by 3.5 trillion. What we were told about Doge is you have to make these cuts in order to make our economy sustainable. So anyways, all of those cuts have been made. All of those cuts to the federal government have been made. And yet our debt is still going to go up by $3.5 trillion. On top of the Medicaid changes and a whole bunch of other things. It's weird. It's funny. It's funny how you look at these policies and you're like, wow, so the American people are going to get less and we're going to get more debt at the same time. Trump's economy. Anyway, so Elon Musk now is again saying that he's formed his own political party. So he was threatening. He was threatening in the past to create his own political party. He now says he has, in fact, formed it. From CNBC, Elon Musk says he has formed a new U.S. political party, the America Party. Because, sure, slap red, white, and blue on it, and you know it's got to be patriotic. Oh, I'm kind of getting sick of like America now. You know how like colors come into fashion, songs come into fashion, different things come into a fashion, and then at a certain point you just kind of get sick of it. I'm just kind of getting sick of America at this point. Anyways, look, I'm a veteran. I'm a medically discharged veteran. I can say that shit. I don't know if you can say it. I can fucking say it. Anyways, Elon Musk said Saturday that he has formed a new political party, the quote, America Party, which he claims will give Americans back your freedom. Remember when he took over Twitter because it was the global town square and he was a free speech absolutist, and then he started banning journalist accounts? I remember that. Quote, by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party, and you shall have it, Musk wrote on X one day after he posted a poll on the platform asking his followers if they support creating the America Party. Musk, the world's richest man, suggested Friday that the new party could focus on, quote, just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts. Quote, given the razor-thin legislative margins, that would be enough to serve as the deciding vote on contentious laws, ensuring that they serve the true will of the people, Musk said Friday. Musk did not say where the party might be registered. It did not appear to be registered with the Federal Election Committee. He also said the party would caucus independently and that, quote, legislative discussions would be had with both parties. And so I actually think this is an interesting form of attack here where, right now we're pretty split as a country between Democrats and Republican. I don't know. I actually don't think the split is that narrow. I think we have a lot of people that are really fucking worried about paying their mortgages. And when we have blue hairs over here and we have red hats over here, and basically the majority of the people in the middle are just figuring out how the hell they're going to pay their mortgage. And so they split one way or the other. Anyways, I think most of us actually agree. Hey, healthcare would be nice. It would be great. Yeah, if we didn't close down more hospitals. Have you seen that? Have you seen that with the Medicaid cuts? Hospitals are already closing down in this country. Because remember, Trump has a lot of experience with business, as in bankrupting them. But anyways, so the idea here is since the elections are relatively close, even with Trump, right? So there's this whole idea that Trump has a mandate. Trump did win, to be clear. Trump did win 2% more of the public vote. So whatever it was like 49 Harris, 51 Trump, something along those lines. He did win 2% more, but that's it, right? He didn't win 10% more. He didn't win 20% more, right? Literally one of the absolute worst candidates in our entire history. The candidate for quote unquote change. She literally came out and said, I am the candidate for change. And then when she was asked, what would you do different than Biden? Nothing. You cannot exaggerate how bad she was as a candidate. Anyways, even with a candidate that trash, right? She was trash. He still only won by 2%. So the idea is it's a pretty narrow margin here, right? So with presidents, more with Congress. So with the House of Representatives or the Senate, it's relatively close races. So the idea is he would create his political party. Instead of really creating a national political party per se, the concept might be to go after specific places where his new party may be able to actually take the vote, right? So instead of creating a third-party candidate for the presidency, like Ross Perot actually did pretty well. He still lost, right? But trying to go for the presidency probably isn't going to work. So go for small states. Maybe South Dakota would be open to a third party. Minnesota, right? The wrestler, Randy Savage. I don't know, one of the wrestlers, right? I think he was a third party. He got to be governor there, right? Go after the states that would be open to a third party. So if they're already held by the Republicans and they would be open to a third party, then specifically target those states to try to get your candidates into office so that you can then strong arm people. If it wasn't Musk... I gotta say, if it wasn't Musk, it's not actually a bad idea. I do question this, though, with this whole idea that Musk has all of this quote-unquote political power. I do question how much political power he really has. Do I believe he helped Trump win the election, right? When the election was so close, Trump only won by 2%, right? Having Elon Musk, having Joe Rogan, having these big men come out and support Trump, I do think pushed Trump over. But Trump got the majority of it. Basically, the way that I would argue it is Trump got 95% of those votes, and then the Rogans of the world and the Musks of the world and those people of the world pushed him over an additional 5% so that he could actually get elected. I don't think if Elon Musk had come out necessarily against Trump, that the actual numbers would be huge, right? Again, with a 2% margin, he may have lost 2%, which is significant, which would have lost him the election. I don't believe he would have, lost him, 50% of his votes or something like that. And so one of the big questions I have here with this is just how much power does Elon Musk really have, right? When you hear the fanboys out there, the fanboys won't shut the fuck up, right? Look in the comment stream down below. You'll see the fanboys. But for most of us, he looks like a dipshit, right? So you have the Democrats, right? The people that really supported him. People like me, I mean, back in the day, I do support the electrification, right? You want electrification, you want solar power, you think electric cars are the future, you think a lot of this stuff, right? You would have supported him in the past, but then he went in and he helped get Trump elected, and then he went in and destroyed the federal government, right? At the exact same time, he was screaming about the blue hairs and the woke mind virus, right? So a lot of people that would have supported him 5 years ago probably don't want to touch his ass with a 10-foot pole at this point in time. And I would question how much of the red hats out there, they like him. There's the whole thing, like back when I was young, back when I was young and my family lived on the wrong side of the tracks. There's this whole, they're with us, but not of us, right? And I feel like that's how Elon Musk is. Elon Musk has been with, the red hats. Hasn't really been of the red hats, right? Blood is thicker than water. This motherfucker's water at the end of the day. And so I really question how much political influence he really has. I think about this, and I've talked about this before, where I was watching this Netflix show about Taylor Swift. And now, to be clear, I am a Swiftie. I am a proud Swiftie. I fly the Swift flag. I'm out there running my 21 miles and like, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Damn right I do, right? She gets me through 21 miles of running, by God. But here's the thing, it was funny, right? So I was watching this Netflix show a few years ago, and it was talking about her and her life and whatever, and I was sick or I was tired or whatever, so I was watching this thing. And the interesting part was where she got interested in politics. So she's from like Kentucky or Tennessee or one of those places, one of those very red places, right? And then she had become very famous and wealthy off of the New York and LA world and that type of thing. And then she got really frustrated that, her state, wherever she's from, was voting kind of the way you would expect her state would vote, right? Anyways, right? So there's some politician, and the politician was, going for whatever they're going for. And then Taylor Swift decided that she needed to step into politics. She needed to tell the populace whatever her opinions were, right? So she goes out there and she actually starts trying to push for whatever in one of these completely red states. And she was just so sad and so disappointed and so shocked. She was shocked that nobody gave two fucks. Like, you watch it, you can go to Netflix, you can watch it right now. And she's sitting there, it's like, I don't understand. I put my time and my money and my energy, against or for or whatever, getting somebody elected, and it didn't work. And it's hilarious, because I'm a Swiftie. I fly the Swift flags. Taylor's version, by God, is the only version I care about. Here's the thing, I don't give a fuck what she thinks about politics. Girlfriend, I want you to tell me to shake it off and talk about bad blood and Eras tours or whatever else. I don't give two fucks who you vote for. And I thought it was a very interesting thing to look at Taylor Swift. She's one of the wealthiest self-made women in the world, worth $1 billion, $2 billion at this point in time. Incredibly, I mean, you talk about Taylor Swift, right? You talk about a cultural phenomenon, incredibly influential, and again, influential, but like, what is your sphere of influence, right? All of that kind of stuff. And again, when she pushed for politics, she failed miserably. And as I understand, she decided to stay the fuck out of it going forward because she realized people want to hear her sing. They don't want to hear about her politics. And why I think about that is, again, if you look at Elon Musk, and you look what Elon Musk may or may not have done, right? With Tesla, with SpaceX, with Neuralink, with the boring, all of this kind of stuff out there. Again, the wealthiest man or incredibly wealthy person, in many ways influential. In many ways, he has influenced the modern world. But not necessarily in the ways that would get a crap ton of people to vote the way he wants them to vote. So I'd be curious how effective this is going to be. Trump, of course, actually shot back. And you can tell how pissed off Trump was. He actually wrote a small book. You can tell how much energy Trump puts into a particular drama by how long his posts are. And this is interesting for him to shoot back. This is truth. Let's see here. I am saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely, quote, off the rails. And this is an interesting thing to be thinking about with Trump, right? He always tries to put names onto people. He brands people the way that he wants them to be branded. And a lot of times it really does stick with him saying Elon Musk off the rails. If Trump can get off the rails to stick to Elon Musk, one of the curious things to be thinking about here is how much more significant will that be for Elon Musk in the places that he's actually influential? Do you want the owner of SpaceX to be off the rails, right? SpaceX is the rocket company that actually puts astronauts up to the space station. SpaceX runs Starlink, where 5 million people currently use Starlink. There's a new thing going through with the Defense Department. I think this is a bad idea, but it apparently is going through, where they want to use Starlink satellites as part of the launch warning system if somebody tries to launch nuclear weapons at us. You know, all of these things are only slightly significant to us as a nation state. And now we're being told that he is off the rails. Think about that. Think about that branding. Then again, with Tesla, we talk about Tesla and what the hell's going on? What, seriously, what's going on with Tesla? I don't get it. It doesn't even make sense at this point in time. Anyways, you got Tesla, right? And so the CEO of Tesla, and Tesla is doing what the fuck Tesla's doing. God knows what that actually is. And you start saying he's off the rails. The drug addict, right? We saw this before. We talk about the optics and creating a story and creating a narrative. I talked about this about a month ago, where you started to see small stories come out about Elon Musk, where he was on drugs during the campaign, that he's addicted to whatever, ketamine or something like that, that he's using these sleep aids, all of this kind of stuff, right? You start to hear that type of thing, right? Elon Musk blows up like Elon Musk is always going to do. Trump can use the whispers of stories and then coalesce that around a specific branding of off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck. And if you're not in the United States, if you're not an American, you may not realize the significance of those words. Train wrecks, when we talk about somebody has turned into a train wreck, when somebody becomes a meth addict and gets evicted out of their house, they are a train wreck. When they become an alcoholic and, beat their wife, they are a train wreck. Right? These are specific types of words. Over the past 5 weeks, he even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for them. That is kind of an interesting thing coming from Trump, to basically say, yeah, the American system, third parties don't work. Though I would argue, if Elon Musk actually has cachet, if he has influence and power, that the third party, the way that he's talking about it, could be influential, right? Trying to put a third party president into office is gonna fail. But literally, if all you need is to take 10 seats, basically that's what he's talking about, 10 seats, two Senate seats, 8 to 10 House of Representatives. Is it 435 or 535? Anyways, I'm a good American. Let's say 435. So I think there's 435 folks in the House of Representatives, and there's 100 senators. So that's maybe where I get 535 from. So there's 535 Congress people. So basically all he needs to do is get 10 of those. So, not much, 2%. Something like 2%. He needs to get 2% of those people onto his side to win. So that might actually be a play that would be significant. The one thing the third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos. Well, Trump knows about disruption and chaos, and we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats who have lost their confidence and their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth running machine. Well, they are a smooth running machine. Anyways, they just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. It is the great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates a ridiculous electric vehicle mandate, which would have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. It is an interesting thing here, again, with the narrative. Why does Elon Musk hate the big, beautiful bill? Is it because of the electric car mandate, or is it because of the insane debt that Trump is saddling our country with for the next 100 years? And so Musk is trying to say it's about the debt. Trump is trying to brand him, right? This off the rails train wreck will not stop talking about the mandate. Let's see here. Which would force? I have been strongly opposed to that from the very beginning, which he seems to. Yeah. But again, it's that storyline. So Musk is saying this is the thing that he cares about. Trump is saying this is what he cares about, and right, trying to spin that story. I've been strongly. People are now allowed to buy whatever they want. Gasoline hybrids or new technologies as they come about. No more EV mandate. I have campaigned on this for 2 years, and quite honestly, when Elon gave me his total and unquestioned endorsement, I asked him whether or not he knew that I was going to terminate the EV mandate. It was in every speech I made and in every conversation I had. He said he had no problem with that. I was very surprised. Additionally, Elon asked that one of his close friends run at NASA. And while I thought his friend was very good, I was surprised to learn that he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican before. That's interesting. Listen to Trump, right? If you don't pay up, you don't get to play. An important thing to be thinking about with the Trump administration, right? If you do not hand cash in a bag to the Republican Party, you cannot serve this country. So I do wonder how much cash the Republican Party has gotten in bags from all of the people that are now in the government for him. Let's see here. Elon probably was also. I also thought it inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon, who was in the space business, run NASA when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life. My number one charge is to protect the American public. So that is what Donald Trump is coming out with. And so he's saying he's off the rails. He's a train wreck. All he cares about is this EV mandate. Look, he tried to get somebody in the government that didn't give me a pile of cash, right? The guy's insane. And then what becomes interesting is we go over, take a look at Tesla stock. Basically, it's down. It's still way too high. It's down to $290. As I do this, it's actually live, $291.75. So it is down about 8.5% over the 5 days. And if we take a look at it over the 1 day, it is currently down about 7%. So that's where you can see it was basically aftermarket, so it gets a little bit weird, where the stock was here, and then it drops. And it just right, by that percent. And so it'll be curious to see what happens with Tesla going into the future, right? So you think about this with Tesla, right? BYD. BYD is now the king of electric vehicles. The only reason Tesla is not being crushed by BYD in the United States is because our government does not allow BYD vehicles to be sold in the US, right? So he's already being beaten by an electric car company. He's only being kept alive, basically, by government mandates. Anyways, right? You think about these EV car credits going away. And so with this, not only is it forcing companies or forcing people to try to buy electric vehicles, but it's also for companies that sell internal combustion engines. Basically, they're supposed to produce so many electric vehicles per year, right? And so basically, those mandates are going away. So I think it's tens of billions of dollars. It's a lot of money goes to Tesla every year from the other car companies literally paying Tesla to do what Tesla was going to do anyway, right? So that money is now going to get siphoned out, right? If you look at the vehicles that Tesla puts out, they're the same crappy ass vehicles they've been for a long time now, right? They came out with their style. They came out with a styling decision back in 2012, whenever that Model S came out, and basically they look exactly the same, which is bad. From a business standpoint, because there's no reason for people to buy new Teslas. Like, this is an important thing. Like we talk about planned obsolescence, and it's like, oh my God, planned obsolescence is horrible. It's like, well, yeah, unless you own stock in the company. If you don't own stock in the company and you're worried about the survival of our planet, planned obsolescence is horrible. If you own stock in the company, hard stop. Planned obsolescence ain't too bad, right? Because that's the thing, right? New models come out. You're like, ooh, I'd like that new model. I think about it with, again, I own my Ford, my plug-in. I have a Ford Escape plug-in hybrid. Love that vehicle. Love that vehicle. It's about 3 years old now. Oh, you know, the new. Have you seen the new Ford Escape plugins? They've got bigger screens. They've got wireless CarPlay. Got the wireless charger there. They got some new things going on. It's like, right? So my plug-in Ford Escape will last me 10 years, right? So I don't know. We're probably going to be moving at some point, so my commutes might go up. But at least right now, right, I drive like 4,000 miles a year because I live in Asheville. Asheville is 3 miles by 2 miles, so I drive very little here. And so the reality is maintaining it as a high quality vehicle. Like, I think I'm at 21,000. So I've had it for 3 years, so about 7,000 miles, and that's with travel. So I've had it for 3 years, and I've gone 21,000 miles in it, right? So another 7 years would put me like 80,000 miles. So at 80,000 miles, the leather's going to be fine. The computer system's going to be fine. The vehicle is going to be absolutely fine. So I can keep this thing for 10 years and go to another, and it'll be a completely fine vehicle even after 10 years. But the thing that gets people to buy new vehicles, right, once the warranty goes away and the rest of it is like, ooh, but don't you want this big moonroof? Oh, don't you like the new styling? Oh, they've changed this or that or the other, right? It makes you be like, oh, I have the money to be able to buy a new plug-in Ford Escape. I would like those extra cool little features. And so instead of waiting till this thing dies, it gets to the end of my life for it in 10 years, maybe I replace it in 5 or 6. And that's one of the things that keeps people buying product. That's the real how the world works. You look at Ford, and Ford produces many more vehicles than Tesla does. Don't tell Tesla fanboys that. But they produce many different models, and people are like, oh, maybe I need an SUV now, 5 years from now. Maybe I want a Mustang 5 years after that. Maybe I need to go to whatever the new version of a minivan is, right? Things change up. The interesting thing to think about with Tesla, though, is they've just got basically their models and their style, right? If you bought a Model Y before, I guess they've slightly changed the Model Y last year, but it's basically the Model Y. The Model Y is the Model Y. The Model S is the Model S. All these vehicles are basically the same. There is no reason to buy a new Tesla at the 5-year mark. If you like Tesla, God bless, if you like Tesla, you're just going to keep your Tesla until the battery dies, right? And so that's the thing to be thinking about with ongoing business, right? So they have that problem with the business. The Robotaxi is a fucking joke, right? The only people that are excited about that launch are the fanboys. I don't even understand. Like, it. You really have to understand the launch of the Robotaxis is just so anticlimactic, like just beyond anticlimactic, right? He's been talking about this crap for over a decade at this point in time. We were told back in 2020 that 1 million Robotaxis would be on the road by 2020 or 2021 or whatever. And they debut this garbage ass system that has 10 cars, has safety drivers, it has remote drivers, highly geofenced and the whole 9 yards. And so one of the things that has to be thinking about is for the investors of Tesla, where do you think Tesla is gonna go? You are legitimately getting beat by BYD. Your cars are old, right? The new Robotaxi thing is lackluster to say the best, right? We're told this whole thing about but Eli, Tesla isn't a car company. Only a moron would think Tesla's a car company. Whatever. It's really like this AI robotics company. Yeah, but basically Elon Musk himself has said XAI is where the AI is really going to be, right? He's already floated the idea that Tesla would literally buy the AI services from XAI. I would be so pissed if I was an investor, right? So the AI component is very questionable there about how much AI is actually going to be done at Tesla. The robots, other companies are already deploying robots. I've talked about that last week. Amazon already has 1 million robots deployed into its warehouses already. NVIDIA, they have a new Foxconn factory being built in Texas, of all places. And it's actually kind of cool when you think about it. They're going to be using humanoid robots to build AI servers. Haha, that's sexy. They're not using Tesla bots. They're not using Tesla bots, right? And that's the whole thing. Like if you look at the robot, right? He was a front runner in the electric car world because nobody else took electric cars seriously, right? Ford, all the companies did not take electric cars seriously. Basically, the entire market was open for him to come in and take over that market. When you look at so much of the other crap that he's doing now, the fact of the matter is there are a lot of other players in that realm. Even it's bizarre. we live in a weird world. We live in 2025, realize that humanoid fucking AI robots isn't a moat anymore. Like, think about how whack that is. Think about in 2010, if somebody literally said, well, humanoid AI robots, I mean, they're just really going to be a commodity product in 15 years, right? But it's true. But it's true. And you can go and do all the research. It's really interesting. NVIDIA's putting out their own robot model. I think it's a Cosmos model. I think Meta has actually put out a robot model too. Fascinating stuff. And so the question is like, so much of his money is based off of Tesla. The idea was he was coming back to focus on Tesla, and Tesla was going to become this Uber company again. We already see him chasing after the squirrel. We now have Trump out there basically trying to dog his ass, saying that he's a train wreck and lost his mind and the rest of this kind of thing. And so it's kind of curious to wonder what will happen to Tesla and what will happen to Elon Musk. It was very curious, right? He said that whole thing, and I've heard his fanboys say this. The whole idea where Trump only has 4 more years left, but Elon Musk has 40. And it's said with such confidence. It's said with the kind of confidence where you feel like you gotta believe it. But you're like, really, you start adding up too many failures? Are you sure Elon Musk even has 4 years left? And that's before we even talk about Trump just deporting his ass, which might actually be a real possibility. Again, 2025 is a wacky ass year. And that's one of the things that I wonder too, is there is this idea that he's the visionary of a generation and that he, whatever he says, will come true or whatever. And I do wonder the truth of it. If you go back and you read about Tesla, if you go back and you read about Edison even, right? Edison, it's that whole thing as Mozzie, right? There's a show called White Collar, and there's this guy in the show called Mozzie. Love Mozzie. Little short guy, bald hair, glasses. Anyways, Mozzie. Mozzie said to the main character at some point, I don't remember the main character. I don't give a fuck about the main character. Mozzie. I love Mozzie. Moz, the man. Main character, whatever. Anyway, basically, Moz said, you can always have a happy ending. All that matters is where you stop telling the story. Right? So think about all these people in history. Whether it's Edison, whether it's Ford, whether it's even Tesla, whether it's George Washington, whoever else, right? Where do you stop telling that story, right? You have a couple that get together during high school, they fall in love, they get married, and then they have a couple of kids and have a house. Right, you stop telling that story at 30 when they hit 30, and that is a wonderful, magical, amazing story. You fast forward a couple of years, one of the spouses gets hurt in the factory. They start taking some of the pharma crap. They get addicted to drugs. All of a sudden, they're selling their bunghole out behind the 7-Eleven in order to make sure that they can pay the mortgage. Everything falls apart, right? You end the story at 30. You have this amazing story about these high school sweethearts that fell in love and found the American dream. You keep that story rolling for another decade, and it's an entirely different ending, right? But that's the kind of thing to be thinking about. Like when you hear about historical figures, and there's this idea that they were always those people. And so when you look at somebody like Elon Musk, it's really easy to think, right? There's that idea, there's that bias. The people that are successful now, the companies that are successful now, that they just simply will continue to be. And I really do question that with Elon Musk and all the hijinks and asininity we've seen over the past decade. But anyways, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about Elon Musk and Tesla and Donald Trump and all this kind of stuff? Would you vote for who Elon Musk told you to vote for? Do you believe that Elon Musk has enough patience to actually create a political party and keep people relatively on track? Do you believe the rest of the country gives a damn what the fuck Elon Musk thinks? Or at this point, do you think most people, kind of like me, think he's a fucking rich-ass dipshit that needs to shut the fuck up and actually be CEO of his companies? But anyway, that's just my opinion. What are your thoughts? Put them down below. Remember, it's the modern world of social media. Whether it's a thumb up, a thumb down, an awesome comment, or a horrible comment, it is all an interaction. That's all that's important on here. So with that, I'll see you all later.